Oliver, Chinese people are not giving each other as much cognac as they used to. And this has been a problem for some time now for Rémy Cointreau. We got some results from the company today. How did they look?
Well, it's still a problem. Operating profits at Rémy Cointreau down 15% in the first half of the current financial year. That's an improvement on what happened last year when profits fell by 40%. But still, China's a very difficult place, particularly the very top end of the Chinese market, as you say, with this crackdown on corruption. And the top end is where Rémy Cointreau specialises, these very expensive bottles of cognac that were popular a year or two ago. Now, Rémy is still very confident in the top end. It keeps laying down more stock, so its debt is rising. But at the same time, its earnings are falling, so its net debt to EBITDA ratio is 3 now, much higher than it used to be, which suggests it has limited room for manoeuvre if it wants to diversify away from top-end cognac.
I'm a little surprised that the stock has held up as well as it has, given the pressure it's been under now and the fall in profits and the lack of any glimmer of hope in the Chinese market. What do you think explains this?
Well, it's difficult to say. As you say, the stock has held up well. It is down a quarter in the past couple of years, but relative to a much steeper drop in earnings forecasts, it's quite a limited drop. So it's now trading on about 34 times earnings.
That's an expensive stock.
That's very expensive, particularly compared to much more diversified rivals such as Diageo and Pernod Ricard. They're both on around 20. What explains it? Well, there were some rumours earlier this year that it could be a takeover candidate. That's possible, but the family that runs it owns over half the shares, so perhaps not very likely. Perhaps more likely is hopes of a recovery story at some point, that maybe the downgrades have gone too far and that it can do better than expected, not just in China, but in other parts of the world, and hence that will bring the earnings ahead of where people are forecasting at the moment.
Is there anything besides cognac that can be part of the comeback story here? What does the rest of the product portfolio look like?
Well, it has got some other products. It owns Cointreau, obviously, there's in the name, Bruichladdich whiskey, Mount Gay rum, but they're quite small compared to the cognac and also lower margin. And as I said earlier, its ability to diversify is limited by its rising debt. So there's not much it can do, really. It's set its kind of store by saying we are a top-end cognac maker, and that's the investment case, and it should just hope, I guess, that the market will come back.
We'll drink to that. Thanks, Oliver.